Hi, happy Friday. Back again, normally scheduled time here at Inside 8 and Inside8.com. My name's Corey. If you haven't seen any of our segments before, you can always go to our Facebook page or our YouTube account where all of the Facebook Live videos are uploaded for you to check out and see if you need a weekly dose of motivation or whatever you need, I guess. Well, like I said, I'm Corey, and I'm here this month to talk about taking risks. At Inside 8, August is our birthday month. I hope you took advantage of the 50% off deal at Inside8.com and took the test. I would love to hear what people's results are and talk some more about it. So you can always shoot me a message here at Facebook or my personal account, and we can talk about Inside 8 and your results and how to interpret it. Also, new on the blog, really great stuff from Julie, from Sean, so go check out this week's blog post. And today I wanted to talk about taking risks, and I wanted to specifically talk about courage, because I think to take a risk, you need some courage. And, I was listening, I listen to a lot of podcasts, so I was listening to one of my favorites, which is Death, Sex, and Money, and the host of that show was interviewed by this guy, Jesse Thorne, and it was featured on an episode of Death, Sex, and Money. And Jesse Thorne was talking about how doing what he does now, which I think is what he wants to be doing and he enjoys, kind of came about because he was not courageous enough to take a change. So he just kept doing the thing that he was doing and kind of hoping that it would work. I think this is basically the idea. Like he said he's very risk avoidant, and so he kept doing the same thing just because it would have been a bigger risk to change. And so I wanted to talk about what takes more courage. Is it always making a change? Sometimes it's staying in the same place and keep working. And I think this comes from this idea, in podcasts and in life, and as a therapist, I hear a lot of stories, and on podcasts you tend to hear the end story, the polished piece, there's a beginning, a middle, an end, and there's like a bow tied neatly on this story, and we see that in TV shows and movies, and it doesn't always, especially if you're in the middle, it doesn't represent real life because you're still going. There is no end. There is no resolution. There's a little bug. There is no resolution to the story that you're living. And I think that is, it's hard sometimes. I see it for myself. I'm plodding through this PhD program, and sometimes it's hard to see the finish line when you're in the middle of it and you're buried under piles of books, or you're in the beginning stages, and we look around us, as millennials, and millennials get such a bad rap. You look around and you see all these people who've made it. They're successful. They've achieved their goals, or maybe they haven't achieved the goals they set out for, but they're successful in the path that they chose to take. And you're sort of at the beginning of your path, and you're still sort of figuring out, what do you want to do? What's it going to look like? What is the finish line going to be? So it's hard sometimes to know what's the more courageous thing. And I think that, for me, is where Inside 8 has come on, and like this path that I've decided to take, or I'm figuring out as it goes. If you know what drives you, and you know what motivates you, who you are at your best, and then also who you are at your worst, it can sort of make that path a little bit more, I don't know if stable is the word, because it's not always stable, but you just feel a little bit more confident, I guess, to take a risk, because you say, yeah, I'm going to try this thing. It's different. It's new. It's something I've never tried before. And yet it makes me happy, and it's where I see myself ending up, even if it's not exactly what I want right now. And I think that ties in a lot to like social courage, because taking risks so often mean asking questions or showing a vulnerability to someone else, and sometimes it's hard to do. And Jesse Thorne had this other great quote from that podcast I was talking about. And he said, he was talking about interviewing, but I think this really applies in a lot of social situations. But your own personal experience of having an interaction with someone is not the product that is being created out of that interaction. He said that can be difficult for people to understand because you might be in an interaction and you feel uncomfortable, you feel nervous, anxious, fearful. You could even feel good about an interaction, and it may or may not be what is being created in the interaction between two people, because both people are bringing things into that interaction, and maybe both people are feeling that way, or one person's feeling one way and one person's feeling another way, and the coming together of those two things create an entirely different product. And I think that ties into another podcast that I was watching. I just tied them all together. From Hidden Brain, and this economist, Tim Harford, was talking about chaos and how chaos can be helpful for us. And he talked about how we tend to get into routines. We don't do anything to mix it up. We get comfortable. And sometimes the best way to be creative or to find a better way to do something is like give yourself a random shock, like do something totally different and take like this totally potentially a risk or be thrown off your game to get out of your routine and to totally do something different. So my challenge, I love to leave you with a challenge. My challenge this week is to do something different. Take a different route to work. Do something crazy. Do something different this weekend. Do an escape room. Go for a hike. Do something that matches your motivations. And if you don't know what your motivations are, or maybe you think you do, but you need to get some different ideas, go to inside8.com, take the test. I'm not advertising or plugging this, but I think that it is something that you have to try it on. My sister was here a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about her results as I'm a nourisher, and she's a harmonizer, and what her experience was of reading her results, and she sort of read over them and thought, this doesn't fit for me, and just kind of put them away. And we sat down and we looked through it more, and we looked at specifically the part that was like when I'm at my best and when I'm at my worst. And I showed her that, and I asked her, does this fit for you? Like, look at these. This looks like it fits for you. What do you think? And once she sat with it and she lived with it for a little while longer, I think it really has affected the way that she processes things, because I know it affects me. I see it in my daily life, the way that I approach things. As a harmonizer, it's funny because I value social harmony and people getting along. And I look at how I interact with my fiance, and sometimes it doesn't seem like I want harmony because I'm constantly not constantly bringing up conflict, that's a bad way to put it, but I talk about things, and I want to talk through things, and I want to talk about things, and I think so much of that comes from I want us to be on the same page, and I want us to both be happy, and he so often sort of sacrifices himself for my benefit, and it's like, no, stop doing that, like, let's get on the same page so neither of us are feeling unequally taxed by the compromises that we're making. So I think we both learn from our interactions with each other, and I think that's the only way that you can learn from Inside 8 is to take it and like try it on, because it's not a horoscope, it's not a horoscope that you're going to read and be like, oh yeah, that's great. Like, this actually, for me, drives the way that I perceive social interaction and the way that I interact with people and things like that. So my challenge for you is take the test, but you don't have to do that to do something different in your life and to try something new on whatever that new thing is and see how it goes. And above that, include somebody else in doing it. Like, take a social risk and create an entirely different product than what you maybe intended to create. Just go into it with no expectations and just have fun with it. Okay, It's the end of August. We're done with taking risks after this week. So this is your last chance. Not really. You can take risks at any point. But this is the last day I'll be talking about it for now until our next theme in September. So I will introduce that next week and talk to you more about inside8.com. Go check out the blog. I am hoping to put up a blog post this week. I have a couple that I've been trying to write, and my life has just been so insane planning this wedding. I'm getting married in 3 weeks. So I know Mar's been super busy too. So crazy things going on at Inside 8. And we are so excited that we get to still talk to you each week and interact with you, because the insiders are the ones that we love, and we love this community that we're building. So I will see you in September. Have a great week. Take some risks. Bye.